at Shackleford Island on the southern Outer Banks in North Carolina on the University of Duke Marine Lab trip. So Steve, I could ask you a million questions, but instead of doing that, I just kind of want you to share with me your experience on this trip and what it means to you.
Well, I think this is year 12, and we've, I think what you see out here is it. Like, we truly know all these folks. Every one of these souls that come through here, you know, we know their stories, and we believe in them, and I think that contributes to their success way more than, you know, than anything else I could possibly do over the course of a week in a high school. You know, I think this is part of our success. I think this has got to be.
Yeah.
That's a male.
How do you know?
So a female would be much wider, like this little part would be like super wide. Watch out, buddy. Almost like a pyramid. Whereas that looks kind of like the Washington Monument. So that's how you can tell with all crabs. So the bigger one for the females is to hold their egg sac afterwards. Hey Maria, so you've come on, you know, 3 years now.
Yep.
On this trip, and not to mention countless AT squared events and things like that. Like, you're all into experiential education. Like why? What is, you know, what is it about this?
For me personally, it's easier to learn this way. You get better experience, you make memories with people. It's better than sitting in a classroom looking at a book, because then you're like going out into the world and experiencing it rather than reading about someone else doing it. So
awesome.
Our narrator, our driver is Bill, and our conductor is Larry. And what I want to do before we actually pull out is tell you some things. I'm a Virginia native, so I might remember a little of my Virginia history. And
that is the real heart from that whale. It's just over 100 pounds. And that is the spermaceti oil right there.
Give me a thumbs up, dude. Thanks, man.
So you now have a family history with the trip, right?
Yeah.
So your sister came on the trip, and now she's going off and working in marine science?
Yep, she loved this trip, and she told me that she's like, you gotta go. If PH ever gets an opportunity, go. And I took that chance.
So what do you think? Worth it?
Very worth it.
Yeah, that's great.
Everything was worth it. It gives us a little college experience too, living in like a dorm and doing stuff.
Had so much fun in my life.
Yeah.
That's great. And, you know, and truthfully, I don't know if you realized it, but it was all
education.
Yeah, it was everything you're doing was learning.
I never knew how to clam. Now I know how to clam.
Right.
Yeah. Now I know how to kayak.
Right.
And you were like telling us that like this is how school should be and stuff, and that's really like how it should be.
No
it's just because you know we sit at school and
it ruins like every kid. I'm pretty sure wakes up dreading going to school.
Like if we were like out and about, like actually doing like hands-on learning like this, and even even just like small scale stuff, like going outside.
Down shallow, and when they dredge it out, they throw all the dredge spoil, the debris on here, and it's kind of created this island. So it is a man-made island, but it gives us kind of a nice chance to look at things.
That's awesome. What'd you find?
I found little pieces of the crab.
Oh, that's great. So
wild rope species.
It's not like, I think it's two different crabs though.
maybe. Do they match up?
So, what do you think about, you know, this trip? Like, and I don't know, did you learn anything? What are you taking away from
Of course, man. I love it. It's something different. You know, I've been to the beach once before in my life, and you know, it's good to come out and actually experience it. It's so much different than learning it in the classroom, because out here you're getting to feel it, touch it, smell it, and taste it.
Now, last time there was no water there, so we literally ran across the desert to get to the ocean.
I can't reach the
Keep going.
Oh my god, he's so...
Oh, here we go, here we go.
Yes.
Nice, nice.
Yay.
Let's see.
Yeah. Let's go up this on 3. 1,
There we go.
And lift it up.
There we are.
Yeah.
Look at that. Nice work, guys. Awesome.
Yeah.
Check this out. There's a kingfish, it looks like.
Yeah, so you might want to dip your hand.
Where's my phone? Okay.
Adriana, what, like, you're here fishing off Shackleford Banks, and this is supposed to be school. What thoughts do you take away from the trip, or feelings, or?
I'd say this is a lot better than school, to say the least. It's not school, it's better, I think.
In what ways?
I just feel like we're experiencing more, and you'll remember more from this trip and the stuff that you learned than anything you'll learn in a classroom, so I think that's really cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm certainly glad you came.
I'm glad I came too.
Just kind of keep this box in front of us. You can get lazy, you can do whatever you want, but if you have your paddle, the biggest part is whenever you take a stroke, you want to pull out of your water, out of your hip. Pull out of the water.
Actually be good. Thoughts on the trip?
What?
Thoughts on the trip?
Freaking amazing, I'm going every year.
Awesome. Like why? Like why?
Because you get to see stuff that you usually don't get to see, like, ever. It's perfect.
Awesome.
The experience is awesome. I don't think I'd ever be able to see and do what I've done. If I had very picturesque.
That's right.
Perfect.
Well said.
What's that? Is that catfish?
It's a sea robin.
Sea robin. Look how pretty that is.
You told me to put this in the bucket, but I don't want to crush any little like.
Oh, it's okay.
Just set it in there. Yeah. Man, way cool. Look at that. Stop. Cool. Go ahead.
Hey, foot model.
What do you think? Like, what do you think of the trip?
It's been fun and entertaining, and really showed me how education should be.
Really? Like, how? Explain. How so?
It's one thing to like look at a shark or any aquatic kind of species on a piece of paper or on like a movie or something, but to hold it in your hand and feel it and just like look at it, it's completely different, because you can actually, the book can say it's smooth, but if you feel it and it's smooth, you know it's smooth. So yeah, and I've never been to the beach before, so this is a completely learning experience overall. It's been a great trip. Well worth it.
Got a flounder?
5 now, yeah.
Very cool. So, how's your experience catching a fish?
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. That's what we got. Stop.
The reason it's really prominent here is because the lack of nutrients that's in the soil. Pretty much all we have here for soil is sand. So anytime there's any kind of nutrient here, it just washes away anytime the rain.
Captain Ben. Yeah.
Good job.
Developed separately from other eyeball lines. Yeah, which is kind of wild, isn't it?
Sir, can you give me my eyeball?
and you know, just see like. So here's another lizardfish. Everybody should see the flounder if you haven't. Here's a few more. Here's another squid or two. You know, supposed to be educational, but really, like, is it? You know, like, what do you take away from it? Yeah.
Somebody else. What do we get from this? We get hands-on experience to learn new things and about different animals.
I don't think I've ever been to a beach and seen some of the stuff I've seen here.
Yeah, awesome. It's like a different kind of education. Like, it's more hands-on. It's not like textbook learning.
I don't think we'll look at stuff the same way.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Morgan?
What?
That's right. That's right. Why? Why? You know, what do you take away from this? Like, you know, in terms of.
Well, like, you don't really know that you're learning anything, and then, like, you go home and, like, tell your family, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're an expert. Like,
That's cool.
So what's really cool about what we did was we just came to an inlet, right? And what this provides is, if you notice, there's no current here. We're sitting still, right? So this kind of is a different ecosystem than where we were at over by the Duke Marine Lab. And if you notice, I don't know if you crept up on some of these reeds over here, the shrimp started jumping, and you can see over here we got a windpiper in the sky. You saw some egrets that were on the grasslands. Those are those tall white birds with the yellow beaks.
I'm working my way.
Hey, yes!
Did you get one? Yeah! Yeah! Hey! Woo-hoo-hoo!
She almost said I was gonna walk from the edge.
And I'm not.
Woohoo! Hey, you gotta put a mark on for a clam.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Eric Hoffman, Patrick Henry, Earth Science teacher. Here you are, facing England.
Facing England.
Well, actually, I'm facing England. But here we are, 2015, on Shackelford Banks, on the Duke Marine Lab trip. You've done this now for a few years. What's the important thing? What's the lesson to be learned here?
The lesson to be learned here. If I could backtrack just for a second. You know, deciding to come into education was a big choice for me. I had just got done serving two tours in Iraq, and being in the military for 8 years, and what I took from that experience led me to education, especially interacting with the children over in the Middle East. And the best thing I can say about this trip is that it's kind of the same experience for these kids as that was for me. It was experiential. And the fact that I was able to take that away from such a serious time in my life, war even, was amazing. But to be able to come back to this and teach kids in my own local community, and do that with the opportunity to come out here and let them learn experiential the same way I did, and those times means just everything to me.
That's pretty great. Okay. What's that?
I don't want to go back.
Stay out here always and forever.